Hello and welcome to another episode of Historic Hindsight. I'm John, that's Tom, and today we're fighting for Kentucky.
We're fighting for Kentucky. It's the battle for the heart. Is Kentucky the heartland? Or is that Indiana? Or is that Ohio?
Indiana's the crossroads.
Ohio
might be the heartland. Kentucky is the, I don't know what it is.
Moonshine capital of the United States.
You go,
we're fighting. We're fighting for the hearts, minds, and a much belated Civil War special for the Battle of Perryville. So here we go. Despite always talking about the glorious battles in Virginia or Tennessee, during the early portion of the war, significant fighting actually occurred in Kentucky, and believe it or not, there was a brief period of time in the fall of 1862 where the Confederates were invading the East and the West, and
they were what?
This is it. Yeah, they invaded the East and the West at the same time, and this battle right here was the battle that could decide the war.
Why would they
at least the war in the West?
Invade that's not like. The United States, when we became a country and separated from England, we didn't during that war. We didn't go and invade them.
Yeah,
we just said no. We're going to peace out over here, but they're invading now. So this is all right. More Southern aggression. That's awesome.
More Southern aggression, very much so, Johnny. More Southern aggression. The one thing that we're going to learn about this, as well as any other battle I think that we ever study from the Civil War, do my battle specials in Civil War, is that we really didn't know what we were doing, and it's kind of a shit show. And this is exactly
that's been made clear through all of these episodes we've done. No generals were good, and then because of that, they all looked pretty good. I mean,
in comparison,
you put a couple shit teams against each other, and it could be a good game. So that's basically what we had the whole war.
Yeah, exactly. So, so the build-up, Johnny, the build-up to the war. It's fall of 1862. Through just god-awful leadership, the North has found themselves invaded in both Maryland and Kentucky. The idea to invade Kentucky came from a Major General Edmund Kirby Smith, who was in command of the Department of Tennessee, and he believed that he could get supplies and volunteers easily from the state of Kentucky. After all, Morgan just did the raid up in Kentucky, and he gained some volunteers while he was raiding in Kentucky, and there were several small cities that are like, here you go, here's some supplies. And Johnny, you live in one of those cities that in one of Morgan's raids later down the road they do just that. They do just that. They're like, here you go, here's all of our shit. Yay!
And that's the most ridiculous thing in the world. Like, they named the high school mascot after him. They are the South Ripley Raiders because there's a monument to him by the courthouse that he pointed a cannon at, and then the whole city went, nope. Like, these weren't... He wasn't attacking soldiers. He was attacking just normal-ass towns. They're like, whoa, what? No, we don't want any of that shit. No, go fight real people. And so they just gave up.
And then we honor him with...
And so,
But anyways, Johnny, there we go. That's a story for a different episode for a different time. Anyways, so on July 23rd, Braxton Bragg is gonna, we're gonna get up there. He's gonna, think, we're gonna do this. So on July 23rd, Braxton Bragg is gonna link up his army with that of Smith's at Chattanooga and develop their plan to invade Kentucky, or at least that was the initial plan. Once linked, Bragg's seniority would give him the command of both armies, with the idea here that once they take Kentucky, it's possible that the war could come to an end.
Just because
get themselves in a better bargaining position.
A state,
if the North lost a big battle in the East at Maryland with Lee's forces, and then lost a big battle in the West, they figured the North's spirit to fight would be so disheartened that it'd be like, all right, well.
And at this point, it's starting to get there, right? Like some people,
there are definitely some people that are like,
guys, this is going on a really long time, and not a lot of good news is coming from this, and I know 8 people whose sons have died in this war, so can we stop?
Can we wrap this up? Yeah, exactly. Their plan here is to get into the rear of Buell's army and cut off his supply lines and hope to destroy him in one grand battle for Kentucky. And any attempt that Grant would reinforce Buell would be handled by General Sterling Price and Van Dorn, where they would attack Grant's forces in hopes that it would prevent him from being able to reinforce Buell. Okay. The plan is bold, and it's going to require perfect coordination with 4 different armies.
Should be no problem at all with how well trained everybody is in this war.
Never gone off this well so far in the war.
Well, and communication is so easy back then too. if something comes up and you're like, oh, I'm going to be 20 minutes late, it's going to take 2 hours to get that message out.
Exactly. So the first problem with the plan, Johnny, is that, well, it doesn't go off without a hitch. In late June, before the armies were linked, Union Cavalry Colonel Phil Sheridan is going to observe that the Confederates have abandoned their positions at Tupelo and we're moving towards Chattanooga. So right off the bat, Sheridan's like, something fishy's going. Some fishing's going on. They're also going to discover some letters from Confederate soldiers that they happen to like steal in transit. And these letters are like bragging to family back home. They're like, we're going to get one on the Yankees. We're going to sneak around and fuck them in the rear. And
hey, mom and dad, here are our battle plans. In case you want to come and watch, I hear people are watching some of these things. So, like, if you wanted to come and see me in action, we're gonna take a bunch of citizens hostage, essentially, and then maybe fight a battle against other soldiers if they happen to send theirs.
Yep, we're gonna have a battle in Kentucky. Come join us. Before the armies even united, Bragg was like, I don't know about this plan. This is kind of a bold move. We're outnumbered. No matter where we go, and if we're going into the enemy territories, we're definitely outnumbered. But Smith is
and supply line issues too. Like if they travel from the south, the harder it is to get shit. I would imagine. Yeah, unless you steal it.
And Smith is like, it's gonna be great. So Bragg, listen, here's what we're gonna do. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go in through the Cumberland Gap. I'm going to occupy the troops at the Cumberland Gap, and then you sneak into, you meet us up, and we'll sneak it. We'll fight our way into Kentucky. It'll be great. Don't worry about it.
Easy enough.
Bragg's still a little apprehensive, but Trader President Davis says, listen, you're going to take Kentucky because I want you to take Kentucky and go take Kentucky so we can have our own fake country.
And his generals listen to him?
Well, at least to a degree. But Smith wanted the glory for himself, so about 5 minutes after telling Bragg he was going to meet him at the Cumberland Gap, he's going to say, nah, on August 8th. He's going to say, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to only leave a couple of guys here to defend the gap, and then I'm just going to go ahead and sneak into Kentucky anyways. And by the way, the Cumberland Gap is this little small area in the Cumberland Mountains that separates Virginia from Kentucky, if you were wondering where that was.
Of course I was.
Anyways.
How would I know where that is?
Since the armies weren't united, Bragg couldn't order Smith to do anything because Smith has his command of his own troops. Bragg has his command of his own troops. It was only when the armies would be united together that Bragg would have seniority.
Now he has that,
So Bragg can't really tell him not to do that. So Bragg goes, well, screw this. So instead of heading to Nashville, he's going to go ahead and head on to Lexington himself. So now we've got two armies going into Kentucky from different directions.
Are they going to the same spot at least?
No. And they're also like, you now took your armies, like when they were combined, maybe you could fight Buell combined.
Already
you're separated. Now you're like, you're really over, like now you're really going to be overnumbered or outnumbered if your armies are separated. Now, this was also all supposed to kind of sort of coincide with Lee's invasion of Maryland, although not like it's not like they sat down.
That wasn't part
there
of
was a general idea that they were both going to do it around the same time, but it's not like they were like coordinating. They're not. Lee's not talking.
They just
Bragg or
They just happened to know that that was going on out east, and they're like, all right, well, it's going to happen, and maybe that'll help us if we can win this because now we kicked them in the balls twice, and maybe they'll want that to stop, and they'll let us have our own country, and then, God, that would have been such a disaster. Anyway, that's a different episode.
Meanwhile, Buell, who's been ever so slowly moving to Chattanooga over like the last fucking 6 months, like the whole summer and into the fall, he's been very slowly moving.
What's the rush
from Nashville? Just meandering in that general direction.
To be fair, late summer into early fall in that area, just gorgeous. So he's probably and pretty though too. In the fall,
just looking at all the
why rush?
Fair point.
I'd stick around. I'd mosey.
But in any case, he was going to concentrate his forces near Nashville when he hears that the rebels were in Kentucky. But then he goes, well, got to deal with that. So he hightails it north with the hopes to get between the Confederate forces in Louisville and Cincinnati. So he wants to get large, substantial
Way
Union
up
force.
north in Kentucky.
Yeah, he wants to get a large, substantial force up to those two cities to block the Confederates from going that far north, which was what their goal was. They were going to try to take.
They wanted to get up, basically.
Yeah, they wanted to try to take
Louisville is a bridge away from Indiana. Yeah. So the Ohio is what they're after because they want the trade, right? Or I guess not trade, the
transportation,
supply lines.
Well, supply lines, transportation, ease of access, ease of transportation of troops, ease of transportation of supplies, all that fun stuff. At this point in time, if you control a major riverway, you've got a major advantage.
Yeah, just on the rebel side, they have the Mississippi.
Yeah, pretty much. On the rebel side, the Smith has actually taken most of, has taken Lexington, the city itself, and Bragg was distracted by taking a Union fort at Munfordville, and then took too long doing that, and then saw himself in the position where, oh shit, Buell's coming, and if I sit around here, I face Buell. Or I can try to link up with Smith in Lexington. So why don't we go ahead and try to link up with Smith in Lexington? He makes a better choice here, really, because if he would have fought Buell at that point, he would have been, outnumbered damn near 4-1.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, it would have been bad.
Doesn't always matter in this war because of how bad the generals are, but,
It sure didn't. It sure doesn't.
It doesn't help. It's obviously a disadvantage.
With Buell now in Louisville, and with thousands of new recruits, he dispatches 20,000 men, which is basically the entire Confederate armies. He's going to dispatch 20,000 men underneath General Joshua Still to try and distract Smith and Bragg from linking up. But Still's a little bit late here as Bragg and Smith unite at Frankfort to celebrate the inauguration of the Confederate-appointed governor of Kentucky, Richard Hawes, who nobody voted for, as he's being inaugurated as the Confederate...
By
governor
who?
of Kentucky.
By who?
The Confederate powers that be, Johnny. It doesn't matter.
And where is he? Is he
they're in Frankfort, Kentucky. Yeah, they're in Frankfort, Kentucky. He's being inaugurated.
Brought in a bunch of traders to have some fake-ass ceremony for some fake-ass governor for some fake-ass country.
Yep. While the inauguration ceremonies are going on, Johnny, it's going to be interrupted because Still's cannon fire Still's forces get there and they start bombarding areas around with cannon fire. They're like, oh shit, there goes our ball, Johnny. They were supposed to have a ball. They can't have a ball now because Union forces are there shooting at them
because of the cannon balls coming in and destroying everything.
Now, while all that is going on, Van Dorn is going to attack Union positions at Corinth for the Second Battle of Corinth in an attempt to keep Grant from reinforcing Buell. Now, Van Dorn pretty much gets his ass kicked. I mean, in the short, random story, he loses. And he has to retreat. Rosecrans does a very good job of defending that city. The problem here is it does delay Grant from really being able to send any troops north. So, mission accomplished via suicide?
Yeah. Sure, they just kamikazed it. It worked so well for the Japanese in World War II. Why not try it in the Civil War? Oh, because timelines.
Time frames. But now on for the battle, Johnny. We've talked for 20 minutes already, but now we're into the battle. Battle time! On October 3rd, the approaching Union Army pushes Confederates back to Bardstown, and the Confederate wing underneath Hardee is going to stop at Perryville to rest, resupply, and request reinforcements from Bragg. Bragg wanted to actually have a defensive stand at Versailles, not your Versailles, but the Kentucky Versailles.
Tommy.
Versailles. Sorry, Versailles.
Versailles.
But the rapidly approaching Union Third Corps forced his hand, and Perryville it is. In Hardee's credit, there are 6 roads leading in and out of Perryville, which means that it's pretty defensible. And then if things go south, go bad, you can hightail it the hell out of there. It also has water, the precious source of water, which is this whole battle is like if Gettysburg's a battle of shoes, Perryville's the battle of water. Yeah. So it has been a very dry summer in Kentucky and in most of the South. And even into October, it is still a little bit warmer for this time of year, and it is still very, very dry, so troops need water.
They're thirsty.
Perryville has water sources.
They can't just go to Walmart and pick up a couple jugs.
Nope. So it is a defensible city. It is a logical city to try to keep. If you're going to have a battle for Kentucky, why not there at Perryville? Okay, so on October 7th, the battle sort of begins when Union cavalry is going to clash with Wheeler's rear guard. Wheeler's rear guard. That's I am drinking, and that's hard to say. And they're gonna fight basically all day long. Buell realizes the Confederates have stopped at Perryville and is gonna plan his assault. Goal 1: destroy the Confederate army. Goal 2: get to the town so we can have some water. As I said,
would like
water.
A drink, please.
I think those probably should be a little reverse, but there it is. Yeah. His plan is that the Union is going to move out at 3 a.m. on the 8th and is going to attack at 10 a.m. in the morning.
Oh.
Early morning attack. Early morning movement.
Oh,
early morning attack.
Man. Just those hours. God. And at this time of year and that long ago, how do you even wake up at 3 a.m.? How do you know which?
Yeah, it's not like you have an alarm
They have
clock.
watches, I get. They have watches, though, so you see the time.
Pocket. Yeah, we got pocket watches. Yeah.
Yeah, but
I got one here. I got one here. I'm one of my. Well, not everybody would have pocket
probably
watch,
get those little candle.
The officers are gonna have
candle alarms or whatever.
You get a little candle
and drop a spoon or something.
Yeah, they got those, and then you're gonna have a watch. Like by watch, I mean like people up. You're gonna have pickets up at night. So.
Man.
Yeah, but it's not like you can set your alarm on your phone.
Well, I mean, wake up, which is a good thing, because if it were me and I'd set my alarm for 2:30 or whatever to get ready, I'd be hitting snooze on that like 5 times at least.
Snooze on that one.
I'd be late.
But Johnny, as we've seen it in all the battles up to this point, they're gonna fail to follow through with their battle plans because the first and second corps of the Union Army was, Well, the first and second corps of the Union Army was a bit slow in moving because they diverted from their paths by several miles in search of water the day before, so they're not exactly in position to move on the night of the 7th.
Yeah, yikes.
Buell's going to try to call off the attack on the 8th and orders it for the 9th, where he can better direct his individual corps commanders. But unfortunately, he's going to be hucked off from his horse. His horse just gets spooked, tucks him off. He's going to be injured enough that he can't get back on the horse, and he's got to set up his now command centers at Dorsey House, which is 3 miles from the town. He hopes and wishes that his command to postpone the battle until the 9th will reach his individual corps commanders, which, of course, it's not gonna.
No, because how could it? Like, good God. But so he's basically like up in a bed in some house nearby, trying to recover from, like, I don't know,
being hucked off a horse.
Yeah, like arm,
fell off
rib,
a horse.
or head, or knee, or leg injuries, whatever the hell it is.
Whatever, okay. All of the above.
And sending little messengers or telegraphs or something.
Yeah, runners, yeah. So the first shots of the battle are going to actually happen on the 8th, when troops from the 10th Indiana boys, lots of Indiana boys in this battle, Johnny, they're going to run into men from the... Yeah, they're going to run into men from the 7th Arkansas as they start fighting over a puddle of algae-covered water in a dry Doctor's Creek bed. Doctor's Creek, it's a dry portion of that creek. They're fighting over algae-covered water. That's how bad the demand for water is. That these troops are like, there's water underneath that algae. We gotta go get it.
You can boil it.
And they're gonna start to take pot shots at each other. Now, at 2 a.m. in the morning, Gilbert, who's the 3rd Corps commander, he's going to command that Sheridan take Peters Hill. And with the help of the younger brother of the Union's 1st Corps commander, can we say nepotism here, Sheridan is able to take that hill, pushes beyond the hill, and actually starts to push the Confederates all the way back to their defensive lines. Like, he's taking the hill, and he's going on beyond it. Gilbert's like, no, not yet. We were not supposed to move yet. Why would the battle? We were supposed to wait till the 9th. I just got those orders.
It's working.
You're just come back.
No. Pursue. How have we not learned in 2 years, a year and a half, however long this work? Just keep going.
Nope.
Don't stop.
Nope. So Sheridan is ordered back to the hill after losing all the initiative that you just got right off of the bat in the early mornings. Bragg, Confederate General Bragg, thinking that Still's forces was the main Union force, thought that Perryville was just a distraction and ordered that the general Polk there assault Union positions and then rejoin him as soon as he can with Smith to fight at Frankfort.
Oh, wait,
He thought Still was the main force.
He thought they were pulling a fast one on him.
And
he's like, oh, they're really going to be over in Frankfurt. And so he's going to take his men and send them to
So General Polk is like, hell yeah, and sent a dispatch at 10 a.m. saying that he's going to attack vigorously, Johnny. Vigorously, he's going to attack.
Oh, shit.
And then saw that he was outnumbered and went, nope.
Oh, less vigorous now.
Don't want to do that.
Not feeling quite so vigorous about attacking.
Bragg is furious because he doesn't hear any sounds of battle by 10 a.m. and he's going to ride to Harrisburg and he's going to arrive at Perryville early in the morning around 10:15ish, give or take, so a little bit there. So when Bragg doesn't hear gunfires in the mornings, he rides out there at 10 o'clock and he's like, what the hell is going on? To find that Polk's offensive line is just kind of a shit show. There are holes everywhere. Troops aren't ready to attack. Like, nothing's going on. He's like, you said you were on board and that you were going to attack at 10 a.m. and you're not attacking.
Maybe they forgot to fall back.
Yeah, it could be it.
They had the wrong time. I guess that would put them earlier attacking.
Yeah, we would put him a little bit earlier there, Johnny. Yeah,
that doesn't work. Bad excuse. Don't use that excuse.
He's going to see that the Union. Yeah, he's going to see that the Union First Corps is north of the town, but he's convinced that the bulk of the Union force is actually the Third Corps at Peters Hill. The little hill that Sheridan just took earlier in the morning. He's thinking that's the majority of the Union forces. The rest of them are up there towards the north. So he's going to order that he has a northern-southerly line and is going to prepare to attack the Union First Corps, which he believes is weaker. His problem with this whole plan is that he forgot that the Second Corps existed, didn't know the Second Corps existed, which is actually in the middle of both those armies. So
on the way to attack, he's going to come across more troops that he didn't know existed.
Yes, a couple times.
Just surprise.
Surprise.
Surprise boss level.
Pretty much. Bragg is going to order a massive left wheel, which was designed to hit the Union left on their flank, which kicks up a cloud of dust, convincing that the Union troops that were there that the Confederates were actually pulling out. So they were a little surprised when shortly after that, there's a battle coming.
Yeah. Here we go, guys. Kick it off.
Now, McCook's First Corps, he's the commander of the First Corps, they're going to be hit the hardest during this battle. By the afternoon, Buell's forces were all there with the first on the left, the second in the center, and the third on the right. But due to a barometric pressure system and a weird acoustic anomaly, because Perryville's kind of hills, valleys kind of thing, Buell doesn't hear any of the fighting going on.
He's like
even though he was only 3 miles away.
Like
he just
doesn't audio dead spot or whatever.
Just an audio anomaly. He doesn't hear the like normally you can hear a cannon 3 miles away.
It's loud. Yeah.
In this particular situation, he's just in his bed, laying down, not hearing anything, thinking that all the Union Corps commanders got the word that the battle's not going to get kicked off. Although that doesn't matter when the Confederates kick off the battle. I mean, if the Confederates are going to kick off the battle, it doesn't really matter what your plans are.
No,
You're now
they
on the
start
defensive.
shooting at you.
Congratulations.
Now you're in a battle. Like it's that's the thing that's happening.
Yep. Now at 12:30 p.m., the Confederates are going to assault the Union left, and they're going to begin with an artillery bombardment that was not quickly followed up by an infantry assault, and that's kind of key here because when you're starting to bombard them with artillery, the Union goes, something fishy's going on. And they extend their line north further than what the Confederates were anticipating. So at 2 p.m., when General Cheatham orders the assault, screaming, "Give 'em hell, boys!" the Confederates assault what was supposed to be an exposed flank and found themselves in the center of the line. Shit.
I don't know much about battles. That's a bad spot to be, right?
You don't want to be in the center.
You're expecting the flank.
Yeah, you don't want to be in the center when you're expecting the flank. No, you definitely don't want that. Confederate regiment underneath Colonel Savage is going to race in front of the two other regiments that were assaulting with the intention to take Harris Battery, all because Savage thought that the commanding officer, Donaldson, was a drunkard and kind of an asshat, and he ignored his orders, and he did this on multiple occasions, just flat out ignored his orders. Like, I'm not going to wait for you.
He just thought he wasn't
Yeah, I thought he was just incompetent. Yeah. He's a drunkard.
That's fair. He probably
putting general badges on. He probably was.
Just about everybody in a general position in this war on both sides is pretty incompetent. Even the ones that we thought are good.
A little bit there, Johnny, with us drinking. Yeah, but yeah.
I wasn't calling anybody a drunkard. So in any case, saying people are incompetent, Tommy.
There's that. Yeah. So he's gonna race forward, and Savage is gonna quickly come under crossfire from the 33rd Ohio and artillery from Parsons Battery, which was comprised of raw recruits that a lot of them were actually infantry that got like, all right, hey, congratulations, you're now the artillery. Figure this out.
I mean, how hard can it be, really? At that time, everything, every like firearm weapon type thing was the same. Like you shove the damn thing in the stuff, and then you light it, and then it goes boom. Like, right?
Yeah, sure.
How hard could it be?
Keep that in mind, raw recruits. Raw recruits is going to be the theme of Northern catastrophe here. Is that raw recruits probably should train them a little bit.
Maybe train them.
That's maybe bite them in the ass a little bit. At 2:30, Donelson's division has to withdraw, suffering 20% casualties. Oof. With Savage Regiment losing 219 of its 370 men. You really screwed the pooch on that.
What? Holy shit.
In 30 minutes of fighting. Yeah, they got cut to shit.
Christ.
Would have been worse if Parsons Artillery knew what the hell they were doing, though, because that could have been a hell of a lot worse for them. But it wasn't.
This is with people who don't know what the hell's happening. But guess what? Artillery goes boom pretty big, and
artillery goes boom pretty big. But if you properly aim that artillery that goes boom pretty big, instead of knocking out a couple guys, you could take out that whole regiment with one well-placed shot. Meanwhile, Confederate General Manley is going to sneak up on Parsons Artillery while their attention was elsewhere. On they're looking over here, and this guy's coming up over here. The Union Division Commander, General Jackson, he's going to be killed, leaving command to Terrell, who was obsessed with the safety of his artillery, and he's going to order a bayonet charge of 770 raw recruits down the hill into 1,800 experienced Confederates. And Johnny, can you guess how that's going to go?
Oh, I'm guessing that the Union soldiers with the bayonets were successful in their charge, and they bayoneted all of these experienced Confederate soldiers and won the war.
You are taking 700 guys and going up against 1,800. That's over 2-1.
Yeah, but they have bayonets.
And you're going with your 26 while they're just sitting there popping you off with volleys. It goes poorly, Johnny. It goes poorly. The Union boys get cut to shit.
Is it a bit? Sounds a little bit like that one of the last scene in The Last Samurai, where it's just like
it's that
with the swords, and it's like
300 dudes charge. Yeah, it's like 10 dudes charging a Gatling gun, or like a battery of Gatling guns. Yeah, that's gonna go over well. Oh god, that was so bad. Anyways,
he did this because he liked his artillery. He wanted to protect it and keep it.
He wanted to protect his artillery. He thought the Confederates were going to take
you 700 folks. Go die.
Bayonet charge. That'll push the Confederates away, and we can.
Did they not have ammo?
We got it. We're good.
Could they bang? Maybe
they had ammo, Johnny. It's just they thought. I don't know. I can't tell you.
Thought it would catch them off guard
during this whole battle.
Just catch them off guard. Like they'll never expect that we'll just run at them from hundreds of yards away and then try to stab them.
After destroying,
they'll never see it coming.
After destroying that bayonet charge. The Confederates are going to do their own countercharge, taking Parsons Artillery. Literally, the exact opposite thing what Terrell was trying to do. Now, to Parsons' credit,
even do the job.
He actually... No. Now, to Parsons' credit, he actually had to be pulled off the field by his troops. Like, he did not want to leave his position. He did not want to leave his guns. Like, he had to be like, all the other retreat troops are like, you gotta get the fuck out of here, dude. It's not like a choice. We can, Tommy, you can try to fight, but you're gonna die.
Yeah, I'm not gonna give credit to some dude who fetishizes his guns so much that he sent 700 people to die and then dies himself trying to protect them.
Parsons, the commander of the artillery. Terrell's the douche nozzle that sent the 700 to die.
Oh, okay. All right.
Parsons tried to stay with his guns as long as he could, and then Terrell...
Okay. Yeah, which still weird. I mean, still, come on, dude. Get the hell out of there.
Now, as the Confederates take that position, they have to face what's behind that position. And, Johnny, what's behind that position is 2,200 Union troops with 12 cannons making Nob Hill unattainable to that. Like you can't
No, it was just
because
they had Nob Hill, so they just kept that. That's why they didn't go further to help.
Well,
folks.
they try to take that, and you can't stay there, so because you're going to get bombarded and all that fun stuff.
Because now we're going to shoot you with all of our cannons.
The problem here, though, Johnny, with those Union boys is that 22,000 of those men, a lot of them were raw recruits that hadn't even fired their issued weapons yet because they were just formed a month ago.
Well, it's not that hard to learn how to fire a gun. I learned how to fire a gun recently.
Yes,
when
you
you
did.
came up. You showed me. I learned how to do the thing. And
to be fair, you got off as many shots in a minute as I did. So
that's right. Which you'll find out how many that is in like 3 months when we get this footage edited.
When we get this footage edited up, yeah. When Terrell is retreating through these 2,200 men, Union positions, he's going to scream that the rebels are advancing in terrible force. And then he's going to convince somehow that they do another bayonet charge to stop the Confederate charge, which goes about as well as the first one did.
Why does he think the bayonets? Is he like in the pocket of Big Bayonet or something, and he trying to like up there? Like, what's he doing?
Ultimately, this shit show's only saving grace is that Terrell is going to be mortally wounded with shrapnel from an artillery round that may or may not have been friendly fire. So now he's at least no more bayonet charges for us.
We'll put it into that.
Now, Union officer Starkweather is going to be able to save 6 of the 12 cannons that's on that hill. And Union Colonel Albert Hall, who started the day as regimental commander of the 105th Ohio, has now been promoted to division commander of the 10th Division with the deaths of Jackson, Terrell, and Webster. This dude got promoted. And he's like, holy shit, I'm not qualified for this.
I don't even know what this job entails, guys. I don't.
A regimental colonel is now
don't get a breakdown, right? Like a
regimental colonel is now like a brigadier general. Good job, buddy. Promotion.
Yeah, good fucking luck. Because the other 3 guys that held that position before you died.
Died pretty quick. But these two men with their troops were actually able to halt the Confederate advance on the left and kind of save-ish the day there. The Confederate assault on the Union Center is going to take me about 2 seconds to explain because it did absolutely fuck all nothing. They weren't expecting troops there. All of a sudden, there were troops there. They attempted multiple charges that wound up getting them cut down by artillery fire, which would have been significantly worse had the Union guns not ran out of ammunition. So,
fuck. We shot so damn many of you that we ran out of bullets. Sorry.
Ran out of bullets. On the Union right, Confederate sharpshooters are going to attack the Indiana 42nd troops. Indiana news! As they are collecting water, our Indiana boys are very, very thirsty, and every time they go to get water, they get shot at.
They get sniped?
So as an Indiana boy myself, if I am ever finding myself in battle, not going by water. Screw it. Don't need it.
Yeah.
I got beer. Beer wagons. Let's just carry the beer wagons.
It's like 80-90% water anyway.
Right, it's fine. Especially the stuff I drink most of the time is pretty much just water.
That's like 98%.
98% water. Yeah, sure. Anyways, this is going to kick off the battle at the right side of the sector around 2:30 in the afternoon. This assault is going to be a very disorganized assault, as orders from General Buckner on the Confederate side were not received by all participating Confederate units. And, the Confederate artillery started to accidentally fire on its own men because they were wearing blue pants. And they got confused.
Because they didn't get their outfits together.
It's 2 years into the war, and we still can't get this uniform thing squared out.
Tom, you know how expensive clothes are?
Well, they did steal these from supply depots, from northern supply depots. Yeah, because
I don't know if you've ever tried to just take raw cotton and make yourself pants, Tommy. But
pants? No, I have not. Surprisingly, I have not.
Different things or whatever. I don't even know what you need. See, that's how hard it is. But they had to send it up north to do that, and they weren't getting along very well at the time, so they couldn't do that. So getting custom uniforms was not an option.
2 stories of this battle: water. It's a battle of water, and it's a battle of friendly fire because both Union and Confederates are firing into each other as troops are retreating in and out, and it's just a lot of oopsies.
Well, there's a lot of oopsies. What a clusterfuck it is! Like the whole the whole damn thing. When half the army is wearing different colored pants or whatever.
Oopsies.
What do you?
Oopsies happen.
Yeah.
Now, one of these Confederate artillery rounds does hit a barn where a bunch of wounded Union troops are lying in, and that barn catches on fire. And now we have a war casualty, or not casualty, war crime. Although it's not really war crime because at this point, like, there wasn't that general like consensus of like you put a red cross on a building and you can't attack that building because it's for wounded. That didn't exist, so it's not really a war crime. But like in modern sense, it's a war crime.
It would have been.
You totally shot a building full of wounded people and burned them alive.
I don't know if we can start applying today's sensibilities to what was going on in the Civil War, Tommy. I think things are a little bit different. Not much. A little bit different, though, than they were.
A little bit. We're there. It's a little bit different. It's a little bit different. Anyways, there we go. We're fighting wounded, burning people to death. Yeah, friendly fire. It's a shit show at this point.
Probably put them out of some pretty serious misery. Like, what are they going to do with
probably,
that?
They're pretty, especially the gut shot guys are just going to be laying. Yeah.
No, you're dead, dude.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And if you're gut shot, it's good luck to you. It's going to take you about a week to die, but it's going to be painful every day too.
Yeah, you'll hate it. But
you are going to hate it. There's nothing we can do. Now, General Sheridan, the savior, the guy who did all the scouting stuff. The one that took that hill earlier in the morning. Mm-hmm. He's also very later in the war. We're gonna talk about Sheridan a lot.
Yeah.
Later, and he does get a credit for being a very aggressive general later. Now in this battle, his hands are kind of tied. Like he took a hill, he went on beyond that hill, was ordered to go back to the hill, and he's like, "All right, well, I guess I'll just sit here." Yeah, I guess I'll just sit here. So he doesn't really get involved too heavily into this, even though the attacks on the right flank's there. He can go and assist, but he's still kind of sitting on his haunches going, well, look, I tried at 2 o'clock in the morning, and then I was told to go back. So now what do you want me to do?
Yeah, what do you want me to do? Come on. Make up your mind.
Yeah. Now, while all this battle's going on, Johnny, it's 2 p.m., the battle's been raging, and you know where the commanding officer for the Union is, Buell? You know where he's at, Johnny? He's still in his house. He's still in his house at his command post, having absolutely no idea that anything is going on. In fact, he's in
his soundproof bunker, basically, right? Like that's
essentially what's going on. He's in a soundproof bunker, and he's going to be eating dinner with his general of the Third Corps, Gilbert. Sheridan's commanding officer. Yeah, they're both eating dinner and they occasionally hear a pop. What they think is a cannon fire, and they go, "Oh, it must be our boys." Target practicing. Go ahead and send a command down to them to go ahead and stop doing that because you're wasting ammunition.
Yeah, don't waste that ammo. Yeah, I don't want that.
So oblivious to what's going on.
Jesus.
That you tell your artillery guys to stop shooting because they're wasting ammunition.
I mean, it is hard to blame them though because, like you said, there's that auditory anomaly where. I mean, obviously the war's been going on for a couple years now. Every other time he's been able to hear all the shit going on, and now all of a sudden silent.
Yeah, in fairness to Buell, I have done national reenactments down in Perryville. I've gone down there. It is rather quiet. Like if you get up and if you get to the parking lot, it's kind of quiet when the battle's going on in comparison to what normal reenactments you hear. So I get there's something to it.
It's a different situation for him.
It's just a different geographical location, I guess. In any case, Sheridan kind of ignores that and does start to throw some artillery shell into the Confederate lines, and he's actually preparing for a counterassault when Gilbert finally arrives and orders him back into his entrenchments again, because we don't want to start a whole big battle here. That's already started. At 4 p.m., Johnny, Confederate Powell, he's going to be ordered by Bragg to assault Union positions on the west, where he thought it was an isolated Union battery, but instead he's going to run right into Sheridan, where they're going to be quickly repulsed multiple times. And uncharacteristically of Sheridan in the future, Sheridan does not chase and pursue the retreating Confederates because, again, I think at this point he's been reprimanded like 3 times to not do that.
Last time he did it, I'm not going to do it. Back.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not going to do it.
No, I get what we're doing here. We're winning and then letting him go so that we don't win. He's like, I get the game. We just want to drag this war on forever. That's cool.
Yeah, right? There's a Colonel William Carlin of the 31st Brigade. He was brought up to reinforce Sheridan. He's like, screw that. I'm going to go chase those dirty rebels. And he chases them back into Perryville as fast as they can run, where one soldier is going to state, Johnny, and I quote here, "It was like running a marathon over fences and ditches and cornfields. The enemy ahead and we in pursuit. At times, we were so close that I was once able to give a rebel a kick in the ass."
He should have probably given him a bayonet in the back, but, what are you going to do?
That was Arthur Silver of the 15th Wisconsin. By 5 p.m., with the coming night...
But, with the way stories work, I'm guessing they got, within 500 yards?
Probably. Yeah, probably. By 5 p.m., with the coming night, the battle is pretty much over. Bragg does push the Union left over a mile, but by night, Phil realizes that the Second Corps exists, and the Union Third advancing on Perryville from the Union right. In one aspect, you can argue very easily that Bragg had a technical victory. On the other aspect, if you stay there overnight, you're going to be overrun because you are well outnumbered, and you've actually lost ground on your left flank, the Union right, with Perryville almost taken by the Union forces there underneath the Third Corps. So you've got a decision to make. At 9 p.m., Bragg is going to make the decision with his commanding officers that they're going to withdraw out of Perryville at midnight, and that withdrawal is actually going to turn into a complete and total withdrawal out of Kentucky because they've lost enough forces, and Buell's entire army is there. Now, Buell's entire army, which was not fighting at Perryville, is 55,000 men to the 20,000 Confederate troops total.
Yeah, come on. I'm guessing they also didn't quite get the warm Kentucky welcome that maybe they thought they were going to get.
It's not as bad as what Lee faced in Maryland, but it's not like
sure,
20,000 guys coming out of the woodworks to fight.
Right, but at the same time, they're not. Even if people aren't fighting them off, they're not opening up their houses to them and welcoming them in and saying, "Hey, we'll join up with you."
No, surprisingly, when
Kentucky over or whatever.
Yeah, when
they're like, "No, we don't want to be
usually
when
an invading force comes. Yeah, usually when an invading force comes to your house, you don't typically open them up with welcome arms unless you're in Versailles, Indiana.
Hey, you know what? They pointed a cannon at a brand new courthouse, Tommy. Brand new. Pointed a cannon at it. They said, you know what?
Last break, 3 weeks ago.
Nope, don't want that. Please leave it alone. Have our money. And I think the reason we named our school after them is because they, I don't think they stole from the Masons or some shit like that.
So the Freemasons bought the school. Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Makes sense, Johnny. Makes sense. Anyways, that pretty much ends the Kentucky invasion. Meanwhile, a month before, it didn't go very well for Lee's invasion either. He kind of lost there at Antietam. So, end of the Confederate invasions. There we go.
Speaking of Confederates, Tommy, real quick, one last thing about Versailles. Our high school dance team is the South Ripley Young Confederates.
Young Confederates, yes.
In Indiana.
Indiana! God, what an odd state.
We never were a Confederate state. Is that correct?
No, not even close.
Never.
Yeah, not even close. Nope.
I don't think so.
Nope. Also not a slave-owning state either.
No, just kind of...
Nope.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyways, Johnny, Buell is going to be too busy not knowing what the hell was going on, for a battle to even know that he should probably be pursuing Bragg, so he's not going to pursue Bragg, and he's not going to do that over the next couple of months, which is going to lead him to be, or next month, which is going to lead him to be actually, you're fired.
You're fired.
And he's going to be replaced with Rosecrans, who actually kind of knows what he's doing. So,
what?
There is that. Casualty report, Johnny. We got a casualty report.
All right,
casualty
this is
report.
A good one.
So, of the 55,000 Union men underneath Bragg's command in and around Perryville, only 22,000 are actually going to be engaged because Buell doesn't know what the hell's going on and doesn't send in the rest.
I thought you said we're going to say only 22,000 survived.
No, only 22,000
That's so much better. Okay.
Now, of those men, of those 22,000 men, 845 are going to be killed, 2,851 wounded, and 515 captured or missing. Confederates are going to have 16,000 troops with 510 killed, 2,635 wounded, and 251 missing. So, in the grand scheme, after we talked about Antietam, these casualty numbers are like, meh.
I didn't even.
That's kind of a skirmish.
Like it's almost like.
Oh well.
Like, tell me, why are we doing a special episode about this? Not even 1,000 people died on either side.
It's the battle for Kentucky, Johnny. We gotta have the battle.
There you go.
It's like as national events go, and I was a reenactor. I did it on a more regular basis. Like that was like the one that we always rushed to go do because it was close.
Yeah. It's easy to get to. It's right there, and it's a bit of a novelty, right? Like, is this
actually my
battle,
my first
big battle in Kentucky? Like,
it was the big battle in Kentucky. Yeah, it was my first national event that I actually went to. And in fact, random note, if you're still listening and watching this, it has nothing to do with the battle. You can tune out if you want. But my when I was WETAUT and we were shooting this, the reenactment actually happened at the battlefield, and like we were reenacting like. Our artillery unit was where, like, Parsons' artillery unit was.
Did y'all reenact the fuck-ups, too?
Yeah, we did. Our reenactment unit was at where the Parsons unit was. And my dad, like, at the time, had his brand-new Sharps rifle. And he laid it across the actual, like, one of the legit old Civil War cannons that's on the battlefield as a monument. He laid it over that edge of that and was taking pot shots at the rebels. And he kind of overcharged. He overcharged that that powder charge, so it almost sounded like the cannon itself was going off every time he fired it. So that was kind of fun. That's just odd, random.
Did he hit anybody, or
I don't know.
Oh.
I mean, reenactments are more like
with live ammo.
If you've ever been to reenactments, rebels never take a hit. They never take a hit. They're like, man, we're invincible. We can't die. So that's the Battle of Perryville. Stay tuned. I'm sure. Well. The next big battle that we have during our Civil War special is going to be Fredericksburg, which we've already done an episode on that, so stay tuned for that. Yeah. And then stay tuned. Next year, we're going to have a big Gettysburg blowout.
Year?
Yeah, next year we're going to have a big
Shit's
Gettysburg.
Still going on?
Yeah, we're going to have a big Gettysburg blowout. Me and Johnny, we're planning on taking a trip down to Gettysburg and actually get some live footage for you guys down there. So that'll be fun.
That's also at the end of that the address that Lincoln gives, or is that
that's
later?
in November.
Okay, so that's
November of 1863. Yeah, my parents were actually just out in Gettysburg for the anniversary of that.
Huh.
It's a weird thing to celebrate. But okay, we're there. Anyways, so yeah, stay tuned for future dorky Civil War shit.
That's it for this week in Historic Hindsight. Thanks for listening. Be sure to subscribe, rate, and review, and join us next week when we talk about trains.